Carl here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial, for sure, and it's horror movie review time as well, looking at an unexpected sequel, one that nobody expected, and I don't think anyone was really asking for either. It is Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama 2. 2, yes, a sequel to the 80s cult classic, the one directed by David Duchovny, the one that starred Linnea Quigley, Brinky Stevens and Michelle Bauer. Yes, an early film for all those eclectic scream queens. As a person that loves 80s horror movies, that finds a lot of joy in the trash that existed in that specific era of horror, when I was younger, this film completely passed me by. I don't know what it was about this one specifically, but I didn't see it until I was a fair bit older. And when I did, it had obviously aged terribly, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it, especially in a throwback style, where it was of that older 80s feel. It embodied that era, and of course, an incredible cast as well. One of my all-time favourite scream queens, female actors, is Linnea Quigley, so seeing her in this in such a prominent role was amazing. Ended up being a big fan of it, but recognised its flaws. It was not a classic by any state. You show it to people who are maybe a bit more critical. They often wouldn't like it. I remember I got my wife to watch it with me in more recent times, and I don't think she enjoyed it at all. Even I was watching it at times going, no, it's good, I swear, and this bit's good and that bit's good, and it had come along and it was a bit like, oh shit, I remember it being better than that. So with all that in mind, I did have a little bit of excitement for this sequel, seeing as, of course, it's come from Full Moon, seeing the listed cast, seeing that it was directed by Brinky Stevens, and kind of like, okay, this could be fun. Spoilers? It's really not.
First, we have some fun. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we bowl.
Whatever it was that was released caused a night of terror.
See, as I said, over the last few decades, the original has grown a cult following. Enough so, we are now looking at 34 years after its release. We now have this long-awaited sequel. Was it worth the wait? I'm going to talk you through it. This film, the sequel, is, as I already said, directed by Brinky Stevens, written by Sergio Hazanes, and starring Kelly Maroney, Michelle Bauer, Brinky Stevens, Audrey Neal, Jesse Gill, Glory Rodriguez, and Katie O'Neill. Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama 2 tries its hardest to recapture the magic of the original, and goodness does it fail absolutely miserably. It pains me to say this, but Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama 2 is a bad movie. There's no less straightforward way to say it. It's just a bad movie. And the thing is, as I stated at the start, it's not like the first one was a great movie. The story was notably poor in it, but it captured lightning in a bottle by having an incredible cast, blending horror and comedy nicely, and wasn't afraid to be absurdly silly at times. This sequel somehow is an even worse story. A poor cast, isn't funny or frightening in the slightest, and is dumb almost constantly. So, what's the story? It's basically a group of sorority sisters and some frat brothers end up at the bowling alley from the first film. Now abandoned, although looking in great shape for apparently being abandoned, they mess about with each other, obviously, and inevitably unleash the imp, or the son of the original imp. Yes, there you kind of have it, particularly in regarding his name. That's the level of humour Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama 2 has to offer. It's extremely low bar stuff.
Sultan Almighty, I'm free at last! Ha ha!
I want to be a famous rapper.
Your wish is granted!
Once free, he of course starts to grant wishes, but very quickly they begin to backfire on his victims. Whereas the first at least gave a little bit of time for them to enjoy it, it's almost immediately here. So the cast are trapped inside the bowling alley with the vengeful creature, but, you know, twists and all that, maybe the ghosts of some previous victims can help them escape. Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama 2 only just passes the hour mark in runtime. Yeah, it's only like 62 minutes long, but it feels double that. Such is the lack of effort, passion, or excitement in the story or with the cast. The latter seem to know they're in a pretty terrible movie. And the whole thing looks incredibly cheap. Really, really low bar stuff. This is particularly galling because as trashy as the original one was, it had some style. And it made sure it stood out, utilising what money it had to really make it work. That's no easy task in the latter portions of the 80s. But this sequel is just trash. Insipid trash that makes the original look like a bit of a masterpiece by comparison. No wonder Linnea Quigley chose not to reprise her role, even though she does get a credit in the movie, and I think it's just for like a flashback scene more than anything else. But, you know, expectations was that she was going to reprise her role as Spider in this. She doesn't. I won't get into what they do in that part of the story. But yeah, you can kind of understand if she didn't reprise her role because of what she thought would be a terrible movie. She nailed it right there. It's just disappointing, guys. That's the thing. It's just disappointing because it's a sequel we didn't need. It's a sequel no one was asking for. And the total lack of effort to make it anything entertaining, funny, interesting, exciting, scary, fresh. None of that's done. It's just a poor tribute where you get a ton of cameos from some of the cast from the original movie. They're not good in this either. And the jokes, I mean, the imp stuff is just really poorly done. Even now as I'm thinking about it, all I'm thinking about is the guy that wishes to have a shit ton of money. So the imp makes him shit a ton of money. Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama 2. You've always got to say it really slowly because, goodness me, is it a tongue twister. It's a bad movie. I didn't like it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?